Never argue with a narcissist. Do this first. Have you ever tried reasoning with a narcissist, only to end up drained, confused, or even guilty without knowing why? You started off feeling right, but somehow you ended up losing your calm, your words, your mind. And then you wonder, is it just me? Why does no one understand how much it hurts? That kind of pain is quiet. It's the kind of wound no one else sees, the kind that leaves you doubting yourself, wondering if maybe you are the problem. Maybe this is just what relationships are like. Maybe you're the one who's too sensitive, but you are not alone, and you are not broken. In this video, you'll learn how to speak to a narcissist without falling into their traps, how to respond without being manipulated, how to stand your ground without losing your peace, and most importantly, how to defend the sacred part of you that no narcissist should ever be allowed to touch. Stay until the very end, because there, you'll discover the real way out. And it starts with reclaiming your voice. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. It's the first step out of silence, and it helps others feel less alone. This is a community of awakened souls, and your voice matters. This isn't just an informational channel. It's a journey to choose yourself every single time. Subscribe to Chosen One's Awakening, but only if you're truly ready to choose yourself and never be stepped on again. If you're here just out of curiosity, to watch without changing anything, then don't subscribe, because knowing but not acting is the most dangerous form of self-sabotage. Why arguing with a narcissist makes you lose yourself. Arguing with a narcissist is never just a confrontation. It's a real loss of inner balance. A part of you tries to explain, another part just wants to run away, and another part gives up just to make him stop. How many times have you found yourself giving in, saying it's okay just to make it all end, even though inside you knew you were giving up on yourself? He provokes you, confuses you, pushes you to react, and as soon as you do, he accuses you of exaggerating, of being the one in the wrong. And the most dangerous thing is that, by hearing him repeat it, you end up believing it. You convince yourself that yes, maybe you've exaggerated. Maybe you're the one who's too sensitive. Have you ever wondered why it happens every time? Why, even if you enter that conversation full of good intentions, you always come out in pieces? The truth is that you are not talking to someone who wants to understand you. You are dealing with someone who wants to destabilize you. For him, the discussion is not an exchange of ideas, but a strategic attack on your emotional balance. And the more you try to resolve, the more you get lost in his labyrinth. Because you are not the problem, but you become one. The moment you try to convince those who have already decided that you are guilty. How many times have you felt empty, as if every word of yours was sucked into a black hole that transformed it into a weapon against you? And so the question is this: how much longer do you want to seek answers from those who have built the guilt on you? A narcissist's real goal, not to understand you, but to disarm you. Maybe you still think that if you explain yourself better, he will understand. That if you show him your point of view calmly and patiently, he will stop attacking you. It's normal to hope so. But with a narcissist, communication is never meant to understand you. It's meant to confuse you. Every word you say is rephrased. Every emotion you feel is questioned. The calmer you are, the more irritated he gets. The more logical you are, the more nervous he gets. Why? Because your clarity challenges him. And he doesn't seek truth. He seeks power. That's why every confrontation turns into a silent battle. You try to reason, but he wants to make you waver. Make you lose your center, push you to react. Because it's when you lose your temper that he feels strong. His strength isn't in the arguments. It's in your reaction. As long as you're centered, he has no control. But the moment you defend yourself, justify yourself, or get angry, you're back in his game. And if you're wondering why, every time, it always feels like starting over again. Maybe it's because there's still a part of you that hopes he can actually change. Have you ever felt that hope, even for a moment? Don't go into defense mode. The truth doesn't need to be justified. Your calmness disturbs him. Your clarity challenges him. Your silence puts him in crisis. Arguing with a narcissist is not like arguing with someone who is looking for a solution. It's like moving through a labyrinth where every path seems right, but in the end, you always end up in the same place. Guilty, empty, destabilized. And the problem is not just what he tells you. It's the way he manages to make you doubt yourself. One moment, you are convinced of what you feel. And the next moment, you find yourself thinking that maybe you are exaggerating. Maybe you are misinterpreting. Maybe it really is your fault. But you are not exaggerating. You are not fragile. You are just having a dialogue that is designed to make you lose your balance. That is why the first real step is not to find the perfect topic, but to protect your inner peace as if it were your sacred space. There is no need to fight. You need to choose where not to enter. Sometimes, to defend yourself from a narcissist, you do not have to go up in the barricades. You just have to stay where he cannot reach you, in your center. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to stay calm when you just want to shout the truth? 4. Get into observer mode, not trap mode. There are times when you feel suffocated during an argument. You can't even explain why, but the words get stuck in your throat. The emotions escape your hands, and your head races faster than you can follow. And yet there are no screams. There are no insults. But you feel yourself losing your cool. That's when you have to activate your most powerful weapon, observer mode. Imagine being able to move outside of yourself, as if you were sitting at the back of the room, watching the scene on stage. There in front of you is him, the narcissist, who speaks, provokes, raises his tone. And there you are too. But from afar, you can see everything without getting sucked in. It's a real technique studied by neuroscience. When you observe the emotion instead of reacting, a part of the brain is activated that allows you to regulate automatic responses and to regain lucidity. And the moment you separate yourself emotionally, even for just a moment, you break his pattern. Because he wants you there, in the game, confused, involved. But you've climbed up. You look down on him, and so he can't control you anymore. Have you ever tried watching him talk without feeling obligated to answer? 5. Choose neutrality. He seeks reactions, not truth. The narcissist doesn't want to clarify. He wants to touch your weak points, change your mood, provoke a reaction. He doesn't seek understanding. He seeks power. And he only gets it when you get fired up, when you cry, when you scream, when you defend yourself with passion. That's when he feels strong. That's when he thinks, I still have a hold on her. That's why there is one of the most powerful and destabilizing strategies for him: emotional neutrality. It doesn't mean becoming cold or fake. It means staying present without giving him your energy anymore. Short answers, calm tones, no justifications. Phrases like, "I understand your point. Let's talk about it another time. I think differently, but that's okay." And then silence. Breathe, not to escape, but to remain in control of your internal space. This technique is also known as gray rock. Becoming gray rock, emotionally neutral. You are not there to act as a mirror for him, nor to feed his charade. If you don't react, he loses interest, and his control begins to crumble. Have you ever found yourself staying calm and seen that this destabilized him more than any scream? But before I reveal the most powerful part of this journey, the one that can truly change the way you approach discussions and free yourself forever, I want to tell you something important. If you've come this far, it's because something is already happening inside you, something that the narcissist can no longer stop. And that's exactly why there is a concrete solution, a real starting point that helps you rebuild yourself from the inside, free yourself from the need to understand who hurt you, and return to the center of yourself. It's not theory. It's not textbook psychology. It's a process that we created and that you can find in the link in the description. It's called the Circle of Life, and it's accompanied by the Mind Flow method. They're not words, they're tools, and you can find them there for free for you. Don't miss this opportunity. And if you feel that this video is helping you, write it in the comments, even just one word, even just "I'm starting to understand." That gesture can help you and someone else who is reading in silence today. If you feel that this video is really helping you, click on the super thank you below. It's a way of saying, "This time I choose myself." A small gesture to support this channel and make us understand that you are ready to come out of the silence, the fear, the emotional trap. And if you don't, that's okay. But ask yourself, how many times do you still want to just listen without ever acting? Because knowing and not choosing is just another way of staying stuck in the same place. And you know, deserve much more. And now let's continue. 6. Don't expect empathy, expect strategy. One of the most painful mistakes you can make is this: expecting understanding from someone who has hurt you multiple times. You keep explaining yourself, opening up, showing yourself vulnerable, hoping that sooner or later they will understand, that they will finally put themselves in your shoes. But the narcissist is not there to understand you. They are there to win. And every time he sees you let your defenses down, he comes closer only to use your vulnerability against you. He says sweet things to you, but uses them as "I love." He apologizes, but with conditions. He seems to listen to you, but in reality, he is just looking for a new way to manipulate you. And when you least expect it, he shifts the blame onto you. He makes you go from victim to executioner, from sincere to selfish. He does it with seemingly kind words, with half-truths, with looks that confuse. Don't expect empathy from someone who needs you to feel bad to feel strong. Expect strategy. Expect confusion. Expect role reversals, subtle sarcasm, calculated victimhood. And if you stop deluding yourself, something changes, because you stop offering your heart and you start protecting your value. Have you ever felt that the person in front of you wasn't listening to you, but was analyzing you. 7. Prepare before, not after. Do you know when you really lose a discussion with a narcissist? When you go into it unprepared. When you think that maybe this time it will go better. That maybe it will be different. That if you are calm, kind, respectful, he will be too. But it doesn't work that way. The narcissist doesn't change the script just because you show up with good intentions. He prepares himself to manipulate. And you? Do you prepare yourself to protect yourself? The truth is that you don't win these discussions with words, but with your inner state. True strength is knowing beforehand where you want to go, what you are willing to tolerate, where you draw the line. It is silent work, but profound. It is the work you do inside yourself, before you sit down to talk. Visualize the scene before it happens. Breathe. Choose the words you will use, but also the ones you will no longer use. Because every time you go in unprepared, you find yourself leaving full of regrets. Why did I say that sentence? Why did I let myself get carried away? Why did I still hope? But if you prepare yourself, everything changes. You are not there to convince him. You are there to not lose yourself. Have you ever wondered what would change if instead of hoping, you prepared yourself? 8. Repeat your truth. Don't get into their loop. There is a point in every discussion with a narcissist where logic breaks down. You have explained, you have clarified, you have remained calm, but he changes your words, exaggerates your gestures, shifts the focus of the conversation. And that is when you feel trapped, sucked into a loop where everything you say is turned against you. In those moments, a simple but very powerful strategy is needed. Repeat your truth, always the same, always in the same tone, without giving in, without explaining yourself, without trying to convince. It's the so-called broken record technique. It's not passivity, it's mastery. It's staying put when everything tries to move you. Phrases like, "It's my decision. I don't want to talk about it now. I'm sticking to my opinion." One after the other. Calmly. Firmly. Because the more you try to defend yourself, the more he raises the level of the game. But if you don't give him any holds, he can't climb. It's neuroregulation. It's breaking the cycle. It's respect for you. And every time you clearly repeat your truth, you're not just talking to him. You're also talking to the you of yesterday, the one who felt she had to justify herself for everything. Have you ever repeated the same words calmly and felt that, for the first time, they were only yours? When walking away is the only real victory. There are arguments that shouldn't be won. They should be left. And there are battles that don't show strength, but only how trapped you are. With a narcissist, there always comes a point when you realize that whatever you say will be used against you. It doesn't matter how clear you were. It doesn't matter if you were respectful, open, empathetic. He doesn't seek a solution. He seeks to maintain power on the scene. And so the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. Not by yelling, not by endless explanations, but with a deep breath, a steady gaze, and the determined step of someone who has chosen their peace above all else. Walking away is not running away. It is not weakness. It is emotional intelligence. It is self-preservation. It is respect for yourself. Because every time you stay, while everything inside begs you to stop, you pay a very high price. Your clarity, your energy, your sanity. and no conversation is worth that much. Have you ever felt that liberating feeling of closing the door and feeling that this time you closed it for yourself? Now you know. You're not the unstable one. You're not overreacting. You simply searched, again and again, for empathy where there was only manipulation, for listening where there was control, for love where there was only ego. But that ends now. You've learned how to talk to a narcissist without losing your mind, how to be right without having to scream, and above all, how to defend yourself without betraying who you are. And if you're ready to go deeper, if you feel that now is the time to break free from pain and finally rebuild, you don't have to do it alone. There's a path already waiting for you. You'll find it in the link in the description. It's designed to guide you step by step back to the center of your life, to help you choose you. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the bell, because here we don't just give you words. We help you change, truly. See you soon.